Hey everybody, welcome to Moving Pictures. This is the first year since lockdown hit that I've actually seen enough current movies that I can make a confident top 10 list of my favorite films of the year. I'm a bit late, but I really wanted to see some of the later entries before putting this list out, and I'm glad I did. Though there are still a bunch of movies I wanted to see, but did not. But I gotta get this out sometime, so now is it. And here's a few honorable mentions, just in case you were wondering. So without further ado, let's go to our top 10. Number 10. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers was one of my favorite shows in my very earliest of memories. Those characters have been pretty much dormant since it ended, but it was great seeing them come back to the public eye after all this time, and in a most unexpected way. In a time where Disney Plus originals are often boring remakes of already existing Disney films, but with the edges sanded off and their substance sanitized out, Chip 'n Dale takes a road less traveled by planting these characters into a world where toons and real people exist together, and the cartoons we see are toon actors in them. You could call it the Roger Rabbit verse if you wanted to. It's a clever reinvention of a known property, spinning it and pop culture on its head. The more you know about movies and movie history, the more fun you'll have. I was laughing my head off for so much of the film. Dale is fittingly played by Andy Samberg, and even if he's basically just doing his normal Jake Peralta shtick, it works for this character. My main criticism of the film is casting Chip with John Mulaney, who is a fine comedian but a very bland voice actor. Putting in a lead with better acting chops would have made a big difference, but every other actor delivers, so you know, you win some, you lose some. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is a big win, so be sure to check it out. Number 9. Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Finally, the biopic we've all been waiting for, the completely unexaggerated true story of the greatest musician of all time. Daniel Radcliffe plays Al, who is an inspired choice because it turns out he's got some great comedic acting chops. And Evan Rachel Wood also delves into comedy, playing a superb take on Madonna. Originally based on a Funny or Die sketch from over 10 years ago, that fake trailer turned out to be a real trailer years ahead of the film. Sometimes art imitates life, sometimes art imitates itself. It tells the story of Al learning to play the accordion, the devil's instrument, behind his father's back and learning that he has the most amazing talent to make parody songs. Next thing you know, he's the biggest musician in the world, and with fame and pressure comes corruption and dissent. Truly, this is the harrowing tale of the Eat It guy. I've been a Weird Al fan for decades, and finally having a new movie with his brand of humor is a real delight. My main complaint about the movie? Not that it was relegated to streaming, since Al wanted that specifically, and he has his reasons for it, but that it was streaming specifically through Roku, where here in Canada means that I could only watch it if I had the physical Roku equipment attached to my TV. But we made the best of it since my brother had the Roku device, so we made a group movie night out of it. It wound up being a great time for me, some family and friends, but those limitations must have been frustrating and a serious barrier for others to watch it. Apparently Roku has worked out some of those kinks, so I think you can watch the movie for free now without a hitch, so please do because it is worth checking out. Number 8. Prey. Looks like 2022 was the year that Predators came back in a big way. Well, big in that Prey reminded us that these movies never had to be big to be great. The original Predator was a very intimate film with a small cast and a claustrophobic setting. I mean, it was a jungle, but it felt like they were tightly packed in there. Prey doesn't reshape the mold or anything like that, but rather it shows that the Predator formula can really expand and work with different backdrops. In this case, we have our favorite creeper alien drop down near a Comanche tribe during the 1700s, and it goes into the wilderness to find the prime predator on the planet to hunt it for sport. Its search leads it to humanity, naturally, and then there's a showdown between the native people of the plains and this technologically advanced warrior. And it's that back to the basics approach that works so well for Prey. The filmmakers don't worry about twists or trying to build much more onto the lore and the mythos of the Predator, but just have a really well shot, well performed sci-fi thriller with enough character beats to make us care about the characters, so they're more than just bodies for a Pred kill count. Well, I mean, of course there's some of those too, but the people who we should care about, we do, and we want to see them survive. It's a great ride and even has a very good doggo, so to be sure to check it out. Also, should have been in theaters, just saying. Number 7. Turning Red. I don't know about you, but I'm really glad that Pixar is back and making original movies. It's a shame that they've mostly been relegated to Disney Plus material because, like many films on this list, Turning Red could have benefited from a theatrical release. I still strongly believe in the theatrical experience and bringing original, unique titles to the big screen. Turning Red is a unique title from a point of view not often seen in mainstream movies. we get to see a second-generation Chinese immigrant family and the clash of ideologies between a young person raised here against her more traditional mother. It's 2002 and boy bands are all the rage, and her priority is to go to their concert no matter the cost. However, every woman in that family has a curse passed down to them where they transform into a giant red panda, and that really puts a wrench into one's social life. It's great to see such a fun movie that also tackles the issues of generational trauma and breaking cycles of emotional abuse. It sounds heavy, but it doesn't feel that way because the characters are relatable and clearly love each other. It just showcases the complicated issue that it is to have a clear cultural clash even within immediate family. But also yes, the movie is hilarious and fun as well. When Pixar does it right, they do it very right. Number 6, Emily the Criminal. Aubrey Plaza takes the lead in this dramatic work about Emily, a woman with a criminal record who is just trying to succeed in life, but winds up getting stuck in a scamming gig to do more than make ends meet. Her job working for a catering company just isn't paying the bills, and getting a better job isn't working out because of her criminal record. Plaza doesn't play her like a nice person, but Emily certainly isn't a bad person. She's an artist who is drowning in student loan debt and finds herself a way out of her desperate situation. She gives Emily an appropriate amount of charm, control, and intensity to make her feel like a real character thrust through necessity into circumstances she never intended to be in. Yet she finds the means to control her destiny. I found Emily the Criminal extremely engaging and very exciting, a taut little drama thriller that also serves as a scathing critique of the systems and control, particularly student loan debt and criminal reform. This film is tightly written, directed with an appropriately down-to-earth style, and is anchored by Plaza's performance. I was really into this one, so don't miss out on it. Number 5, The Banshees of Inisherin. Martin McDonagh has only made 4 movies since 2008, and he proves that he is a man of quality over quantity. I've thoroughly enjoyed every movie that I've seen of his, and The Banshees of Inisherin is no exception, as he perfectly blends macabre comedy with personal drama. The film has some great laughs despite being a tragedy at its core, because McDonagh truly knows how to write terrific dialogue. It also helps that the 2 leads in Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are masters of their craft and can really carry the weight of their film on their shoulders. It is a penetrating look at life in small rural town, analyzing the importance of human connection and friendship, legacy and mortality, while also exploring the idea of respecting people's boundaries and personal choices to lead the lives they wish or deserve. And like most great art, it doesn't force-feed answers to you, but asks questions. Yes, we are all entitled to chase our dreams and live a better life, but is there a cost to others in our lives for doing that? From my experience, yes. This just cements Martin McDonagh as one of those filmmakers that I trust implicitly, and I'd watch anything he puts out from this point forward. Which was already the case, but now even more so. Number 4, Pinocchio. In a year where there were 3 different Pinocchio adaptations, all Guillermo del Toro's version had to do to be the best one was to not suck. But it does much more than that. This telling has so much heart and soul in it, and it only gets better the more you let it sit with you. Who would have expected the story would have so much to say about mortality and our relationship with death? Of course, it goes without saying that the film is crafted beautifully. It's some of the finest stop-motion animation ever brought to the screen, with amazing art design which we've come to expect from Del Toro. And it has his visual stamp all over it. It's clever, macabre, and often very touching. My first instinct is to say that this version really isn't for kids, but I've actually come around on that. It's dark and really deep, but I came from the generation that watched Don Bluth films, so if I can come out of watching All Dogs Go to Heaven in one piece, I feel like today's kids should have a good dose of Pinocchio to start them on a good route in life. Oh, and I know you've heard this from me a few times already, but I really feel like this movie not having a proper theatrical release really cheated audience of seeing this beautiful film on the big screen. Number 3, Glass Onion. I remember seeing Brick in theaters all the way back in 2005 and believing that I had just witnessed the birth of a new filmmaker who would be going places. It really feels good to be right sometimes, because Rian Johnson has become a new auteur, writing successful original films in an era where franchise filmmaking reigns supreme. And yes, I am aware he has the luxury of doing that because he made a Star Wars film, but he's using his newfound notoriety to make unique stories, creating a series of his own with Knives Out mysteries. Glass Onion, the second story following Benoit Blanc, is different in tone and style, but just as captivating in its mystery. Not to mention that Daniel Craig is having the time of his life in this role. Actually, I feel that way about the whole cast and Johnson himself. Everyone is on board and enjoying the hell out of making this mystery. My main criticism of the film was its release. I was lucky enough to get tickets to see it in its narrow week-long theatrical run, but not everyone did, and that is a shame. If Netflix wants to make movies with the big boys, they should treat their product with respect and give people the option to see it in the theater. A movie this good deserves the full treatment. It should be romanced in theaters before being married to the streaming service. The audience is there, so hopefully Netflix will reconsider when the next Benoit Blanc mystery comes out. Number 2, Everything Everywhere All at Once. At work one day, 2 older ladies entered my shop after having finished watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. They saw the movie because of the buzz around it, because otherwise I don't know if it was something that they would normally go out to see. I said I enjoyed it, and they looked at me confounded and asked what I liked about it. I was worried what to say at risk of making them think that I liked movies strictly based on humor surrounding butt plugs, but I did settle on saying something entirely accurate. I have just never seen a movie like it. What an astoundingly unique story and vision. A down-to-earth personal story explored through absurdist humor and elegantly choreographed action sequences. Plus, the performances are terrific, with the absurdity of what is going on screen embraced fully by the actors. There is acknowledgement that what's going on around them makes no sense and everyone is completely over their heads in mayhem, but also there are real emotional stakes that anyone with a family can relate to. The Daniels, this directing duo who also released the noteworthy Swiss Army Man, are proving themselves as daring and inventive filmmakers who are pushing the boundaries of cinema, and I am ready for more. I can't wait to see what they have in their bag next. Number 1, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Often when properties cross over from one platform to another, the premise of a concept gets stretched out or reimagined to a point where it feels burnt out, tired, or possibly even unrecognizable from its original form. Or sometimes it's fine, but not much more than an extra long, good episode of a show, like The Simpsons movie and Bob's Burgers movie. An unlikely spawn of internet entertainment, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is based around a few YouTube shorts from years ago that went viral. I wasn't aware of them before, but I can see why it became an internet hit. But to get a full movie greenlit and produced off of that is incredible. But the fact that it was actually great is a miracle. The mockumentary style gives the story a chance to give a meta-commentary on Marcel's success on YouTube and the cost of becoming an influencer. It serves as a story about family, loss, and is a contemplative piece on mortality and loneliness. Actually, that seems to be a big theme this year with movies. Interesting. But what makes the movie work is the sheer charm of the lead character, Marcel, who is adorable and hilarious. The humor comes from such an honest place, informed completely by character. I mean, look at this guy. He's a shell with an eyeball on shoes, and he's one of the single most likable protagonists I have ever seen in a movie. As far as movie-going experiences this year, I look back on Marcel the Shell with Shoes On with such fondness and admiration that a little film like this could make such an impact for those who are lucky enough to see it. Check it out for sure. Thank you everyone for watching my top 10 videos of 2022. Let me know your favorite movies in the comments down below. If you like what I have to say, please consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.